Hey guys, Psychic here, and welcome back to another episode of Antimatter Chemistry with me. Hello, and I've been a little busy. I've taken away the little generator down in the corners. Don't worry about that being missing. I figured I got enough of the thorium 230s or whatever they were called. But I've been doing a lot more work in between episodes than I thought I did because I was checking to make sure where I left off last episode, and I was like, wait, I've actually done a lot. I think I can record. Because I don't want to leave y'all out of too much. So in here, I've done nothing. All I've done is see, this is where I get lost. I don't remember what I've done and I've explained or what I've not, but I think this was in between. I've hooked this up, the laser drill, to the battery upstairs. I have two. I have this one that has the resonant thing, and then I have like a lower level battery up there. I did move the overclock generator just because I didn't want to use it. I had this running, so I can have this running. So I had these two going, some lava ones, and food, and I learned that the death generator hurts when you run it. It gives you doom, which kills you in 60 seconds, no matter what you do. I'm assuming you can maybe drink milk to get rid of it, but it counts down in the chat, and it's a little scary. It happened to me once, it didn't happen again. But that so far is the only one that's had an effect. I did not run the explosive one yet, so I know that one explodes. Oh, and the halitosis generator also makes endermites, but that's fine. But I have that hooked up upstairs now. It actually goes around back and then through here. It's not quick, even with me hooking it up to the generator, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I'm hoping that the rainbow generator will be worth it, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I took one of the petrified fuel generators that we had extra in our little building over there and just brought it over here because this creates a lot of energy. I stole the battery that I had hooked up to the decay generator and just have it over here just for fun. So I have this running. It's been running for a while. I have it now outputting to this chest here. And I've been taking a bunch of iron and gold out of here and redstone and stuff and just kind of breaking it down. That's why it seems so empty. It's not just giving me a ton of thorium for no reason. Because I've been needing a lot of stuff. But I've hooked that up. In our actual house over here, we have a different setup for the neutron collectors, and that's because I've made a couple more. I'm having an iron problem. Believe it or not, iron and not so much redstone anymore, but I still a little bit. But I'm having an iron problem, so I'm not able to produce these as fast as I would like. Same goes with the actual compressors. But I've been making what I could just so this goes, and I've been sitting on the server, I think since the last time I recorded. I've had it open for about 36 hours, not all at once. But just like overnight some nights or when I'm going to work or whatever, just to kind of have this run and producing. So I'm getting pile of neutrons, neutron nuggets. I just cleared it out not too long ago, so that's why it seems empty, but I just kind of have this chugging. I also discovered retrievers. So I've been using servos this entire time to push out of items to be put into the item ducts. Retrievers do the same thing, but the opposite way. So instead of having to need a servo for each one of these machines, I get a retriever, and it says, hey, pump into this chest things that are just connected to these pipes. So it's just whatever these produce, or if I connected another machine, it would just grab whatever it could output and put it in here. And then you could put a whitelist or a blacklist on there if you want specific items, which I'll show you that I've done a lot of that in other builds. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and then, so that's just kind of been chugging. I've been getting a bunch of iron between trying to do the laser drill. I've been getting iron from the quantum quarry. I've also just been mining, just to try to get some of this iron up. I do know technically I have a lot of iron, like chemical wise. I think the math was like 5. There was a number of ingots that I could produce, just from this. But I don't really want to use it yet if I don't have to, because we're going to need singularities from that iron. So I'd rather keep it for that if I can get iron in other I'm gonna face this way, repeatable ways. So I did finish setting this up. For the longest time, I did not have this basic drawer set up. So this is within the last couple hours I have put this up. Because, like I said, I've been having an iron issue and a little bit of gold as well. So I'm just kind of taking that out instead of having it pump into the system now. Taking that I have 94,000 iron and where is gold? And 18,000 gold. So I'm just gonna let that be. But I've been just kind of checking up. I love these clear gas because I can actually break them. But like there's some items in here that obviously are not going to be broken down. I just take those out every once in a while, but because this is a diamond chest, it doesn't fill up very quickly, so I can just kind of let it sit and run and do its thing. And as of right now, it is in the taiga. It's been in the taiga for a while, but it's mined a lot of blocks. I have also changed this to full capacity, so it is pumping out as fast as it's pumping in. Because we have an energy supply that's working right now. So I just come over every once in a while. If this chest is ever full, it's just because something in the drawer system is full, and I just have to figure out where to put that, put like an upgrade, and then it'll empty itself out again. So that's been doing pretty good. I wanted to talk about, it is hard to get back here. I didn't make any easy way. Retrievers. So back here, I've been using a lot of servos. I've been using signalum just because it makes things faster, but that's when I'm pushing things without any idea or any purpose of what it's pushing out. For the retrievers, I've been using that quite good, so I've blacklisted like a bunch of things to go into the dissolver, so these won't go into the dissolver, and then whitelisted these two so they'll go in here because they are not whitelisted in here, so otherwise they would sit in the diamond chest. So that's why this drawer is now getting these ores instead of going in here. I could do that with all of the ores technically, but I really don't need access to many other ores than the ones that I have because I have a bunch of other ones. But that's where these come into play, and if I actually... Retrievers are not difficult to make whatsoever. I think it's the same idea as a... Yeah, so servo is redstone and glass, a retriever is lapis and glass. So it's just the same thing. And I've been doing mostly hardened versions of each, so that way it's just a little faster, but nothing too crazy. Depending on what it is. Obviously, I used reinforced here. It just depends on how fast I want it to pump. So, but yes, that's what I've been doing here. So I'm just going to put that all back for now. So that is pumping. I do think I might make more of these. So in the meantime, I've been kind of comparing the quantum quarry versus the laser drill, and they have their ups and downs, obviously, from one another. The quantum quarry is definitely a lot quicker as long as you have the energy producing for it, which I'll show you guys why I've been having a lot of energy as of late anyway. I just can't choose ores, so this has been sitting for a little bit, and I don't have many ores going on, but it's fine, because if I were to leave the server running, I probably would get a lot more in the long run than I would with the laser drill. Now, however, with the laser drill, I don't have infinite power going towards that. I'm not saying I have infinite power for this either, but I have power more efficiently going to the quantum core than I do the laser drill. So maybe once I get the rainbow generator or just some sort of like more reliable source of power over there, that might be the bet. I don't know, but that machine up there looks insane, and it kind of is, but this is why I've been having not many issues with power, and that's because my source of power is through through these things. It's the petrified fuel generator. And my main source of energy, I've been using pyrotheum dust because it's really easy for me to get blaze powder and sulfur because of the blaze demob learning thing. And then redstone, I've been getting, not great, but I've been getting it. It uses one every once in a while, it's fine. But I've been using that through the simulation chamber, and I've been having, not issues, but I was just getting a little tired of crafting it myself constantly. So I made a machine. So we've made simulation chambers, we made loot fabricators. I'm not worried about those. We've done that plenty of times. So we've done that. We've made diamond chests. I'm using a lot of the retrievers. I'm using servos. I'm using the item ducts. This is all pretty much stuff that we've made before, but we have not made a sequential fabricator. But this creates, it's an auto crafter is pretty much what it is. And it's really easy to make, just some copper gear, redstone reception coil, machine frame tin, and a crafting station. And when you take a look in it, this is what it looks like. You got an input on the bottom, that's where all of your crafting material goes. You get to choose a recipe to use at the top. You just hit the check mark to set recipe, and it'll just keep chugging. So, step by step, this simulation chamber is the blaze data module. So whenever I feed, and I did hoppers here. I could make more just diamond chests and stuff, but I just did hoppers because I don't plan on using this. It makes a lot without using a lot, if that makes any sense. But you just put some of the polymer clay in here. It'll dump into here. It'll create the pristine blaze something. It's got more than one word. Yeah, matter. There we go. Pristine blaze matter. And from there, I have this retriever asking for the matter to make blaze rods. And then the blaze rods I have pumping out into this pulverizer, so that way it breaks it down into blaze powder and sometimes sulfur. And then that auto outputs into this chest. And I have a ton because I've been letting it run. And this was only with 10 stacks of polymer clay. Yeah, and I've had a lot of extra that I've had to throw into here, just because I was still setting up the second half of this, or the third third of it. So let's talk about the second third. This loot fabricator also pulls from the blaze matter, the pristine blaze matter, but this is to make sulfur specifically. So even though this produces sulfur with the pulverizer, it's not enough. It does not balance out. So this will make more pure sulfur. I don't know if there is a, because this is closer, it'll pull it faster, but because this gets filled so fast, I'm not too worried about it. Because once this fills up and it brings the pristine matter into here and it makes the sulfur, as long as it can eventually pump into the fabricator, that's all I care about. So that's how that's going. The third part of it is one I just made, which is a witch data module. So it's low tier at the moment, so it's not making a lot, but it's better than nothing. And the way I did that is I actually, if we go up here and just so I could show it, you guys, I caught a witch in a mob imprisonment tool. So remember we did the sheep and then the pink slime? I did the same thing, but with witches. I went to the deep dark. I just flew around for a little bit until I found a witch, caught it, and then used our tools that we used before in order to mob duplicate it. I made a witch data module, which is not difficult to make. It's just a data module in a glass bottle. And did that. So I killed 6 witches and then just threw it in here. I could technically kill more because I have the ability to speed this up a little bit, but I'd rather it just start functioning because it's going to upgrade on its own. Anyway, look, it succeeded. So that makes pristine witch matter, and that pumps into this data or loot fabricator, and I have it set to make redstone. You can also use it to make sugar and glowstone, but redstone's my main bet. I also may use this as a way of getting redstone more reliably later, once this gets more upgraded. I could either make another witch data module because it wasn't that difficult to make in the first place, or just whenever this machine fills up and this is full of pyrotheum dust, it'll just, any off-put, I'll make a drawer so it can put redstone into that and probably have that connected up to the ME system as well. So yeah, so this will make the redstone matter, and then it's supposed to pump into this fabricator. Because it's such a low tier, it's not making redstone very quickly, so it's not pumping into here faster. This also might be due to this chest being physically closer to the fabricator than this redstone is. I'm not sure yet. But once this gets to a higher tier, it makes 32 at a time. So what I'm hoping is that I can have this all just kind of balance itself out. But in the meantime, I've just been doing this. I've also turned, since I don't have this going, I don't have any more being produced at the moment because we have so much and I'm just going to let it sit. But yeah, and then this also powers itself. I don't have this hooked up to the rest of the stuff. This is all self-powered. I have the sequential fabricator also outputting to this petrified fuel generator. It just puts the pyrotheum dust, and this makes more than enough energy to power all of this at once. I don't know all at once, but it definitely does at least half. I turned this off to do this just because I had too many of the blaze ones, but I'm assuming, because it did these 3 machines pretty well. I think 2 more wouldn't affect it too much, and even if it did, as long as it self-powers, it's good. So yeah, that's kind of how I have this going. So I've been getting a lot. I've been using a lot, so don't think that this isn't a lot of pyrotheum dust. This probably would be close to full. I'm not going to say very full, but close to full if I haven't used any. But the fact that this is self-powered is already great, and I just have it kind of all hooked up in the back here. I had it connected for a little bit, just until I figured out. I was like, wait, I can just add things to it. So, yeah. It's all neatly packed back here. So, yay. I really like it. I'm sure there's better ways to do certain things, but, you know, I don't care. It's working, and I'm just going to let it do its thing. Okay. So, besides that, I've also been using that. I've been busy down here. Yeah, the wall looks a little different. There's things in it now. So what I've been doing down here, I've been making a lot of these neutronium compressors. I'm actually on the path of making 4 more if I can get enough iron. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 13. I don't know. I counted 14 earlier. But that's 13. Anyway, so we've been kind of doing all of this before. Not this wall. Ignore that wall. This wall is the same. All I've added was the neutronium compressors, and I just have both the helium and the nitrogen atomizers automatically just pumping into the neutronium compressors, and I disconnected it from pumping up here just because we've have so much, and I'm hoping that I will just pop this drawer out at some point and just slap it on there if I need any more. But honestly, I have 122 of each, and it's still going, so I don't know if I need to do that yet, but it's definitely an option, because I think, remember, we did the math earlier, I need like 1,900 of each, so it's like, it's getting there. But I just have that, so now the only thing I have hooked up to this auto pumping is the cobblestone, which this is pretty much doing the same exact thing as our quantum quarry is doing. It's just cobblestone instead of everything else, but it's like I'd rather it go and not be needed than, you know, the other way around. For the, what are you called, mineral salts, I've added 4 more of these evaporators, so it's going a little faster. I've gotten 7 so far. These just requires 20,000 per, so these take a lot longer, because otherwise I could quadruple that, because if I only needed 4,000, yeah, I would have 28. But that's okay. I just have this continuously going. Now for the big things. So I'm going to do this in the order that I made them, which the first one was hydrogen, because I was trying to just kind of go down the list. So with hydrogen, I figured I could just combine it. So I made a fission casing. I've made 2, actually, because these aren't that bad to make. So I made a fission casing. And what I have it doing is I have a petrified fuel generator. It connects to this helium collector and the atomizer. Atomizer for helium, it takes that, pumps it into the fission casing, and then the fission splits it into 2 hydrogen. And then I just have the auto pumping into a neutronium compressor. I have 9 so far, nothing too crazy. I can actually go ahead and grab. See, look at this function. This. And just throw that in there, and y'all can kind of see it in action. I'll do the same because it's the same idea over here for this item. But yeah. So yep, makes hydrogen, just kind of pumps in there, and I just have it running forever. I don't have it hooked up to anything. My goal eventually is to try to figure out how to connect it to everything can be just powered at once. But I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. Not closing that because I need to go back, because this one is the same idea, but it is making lithium and beryllium, and what it is breaking down is nitrogen, because we can do the same thing. So I have it breaking down nitrogen, that makes the lithium and the beryllium. And so yeah, I have 5 of the lithium ones, getting close to a 6th one, and then 4 beryllium. The reason the lithium is getting more is because of our next machine that I'll talk about, but it's the same idea. Everything's hooked up and just kind of being split down. And this is a way to get a lot of different chemicals. Ominous. It's a way to get a lot of different chemicals. I just have it set up for these because, like I said, I was just kind of trying to go through an order on here just so I don't get lost. So I did hydrogen, I already had helium, I got lithium, beryllium, and next was boron, and that's where I got off track. So what happened was I was looking at boron, and I was like, how do I make boron? And obviously you do have the ore, which I think we actually have a lot of at this point. But I was like, what different ways can I fission to make that? And I was like, oh, sodium. I can split sodium. And I was like, sodium's got to be really easy to make. I was like, how do I get sodium? And it's like, you can get it from sodium chloride, lapis, and that's pretty much it. So I was like, okay, well, if I can get it from sodium chloride, how do I get sodium chloride? And I was like, mineral salt. And it makes a lot of sodium chloride from mineral salt. And this is where I kind of got lost. Because I was like, okay, I can make a lot of mineral salt. And I'm like, oh, it gives me more lithium. But I was like, I can also get magnesium, iron, copper, zinc. And then this can bring me sodium and chloride. And then this will bring me potassium and chloride. So I was like, why don't I just make the mineral salt and split it down to get those? And that's what I did. So back here, and I'll also show you guys something cool that I figured out. But I have 10 of these evaporators all hooked up. Of course, none of this requires energy, which is great. And I have it pumping into a chemical dissolver. And from here, it does all of the splits of the chemicals, but it does the sodium chloride and the potassium chloride, which I have that being retrieved over here to then split from there. And then this is all interconnected to be pumped. Yeah, to be pumped into each of these. And each of these I did a retriever so that way I can choose what goes into each. Because I think once this is empty, it like resets itself. Like, it's empty. It doesn't stay as the output unless you put one in. So I was like, I'm going to retrieve. But this creates lithium as well. So it's also hooked up to the lithium from this fission controller. So that's why that has a little bit more than the beryllium does. But it doesn't have to be even. I'm not too worried about that. But something cool is if you look at this and you're like, hey, chemical dissolvers require energy. You are on bedrock. And there's no leadstone flux things around. What the heck are you doing? And I discovered that I didn't understand how these batteries worked until now. So I have this battery hooked up. So this is hooked up to a leadstone flux. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Leadstone flux? Yes, leadstone flux duct. I do have that hooked up. So this is being powered, and then I have this transmitter. I was like, this goes to the 4 tiles it needs. And I went to go be like, okay, maybe I can do some weird chain thing. So it says it can only go out up to 4 blocks. So I was like, okay, I'll just set one down every 4 blocks. I'll get a battery each time and just kind of go. And then I put the battery down and it was instantly charged. And I didn't have it anywhere near that battery. And I think it's because these are all connected. I'm not sure how. I know it's extra utilities, but I think because it uses grid power. And you might also ask, why is your grid power so high? I have a lot of stuff. So I just made a dragon egg mill. Because it's not difficult to make, and I have access to a bunch of dragon eggs. Yeah, so it's just, I have redstone, which is ender pearl redstone, and a resonating redstone crystal. We've gotten stoneburt before, so another start. Like, it was actually really easy, and you just put an egg on top. So, I don't have to worry about grid power anymore. But anyway, so the batteries are pretty much all connected, which technically I could use that for this, but my worry is that it'll eat the energy faster, because like if you're staring at this, it's not eating it too fast, but obviously it's not maintaining the max it is holding, but I don't know. It's working. So I put a RF transmitter on top, so this is what's powering both of these. I would have to test it out with these just to see if it would maintain energy. Because like I said, I don't know what the limits to it are, because obviously like just these 2 machines and it's kind of popping back and forth between RF amounts, so it's like I don't know. I mean, a fission controller uses a lot of energy, so that's just kind of what I'm boiling down to, but yeah. So yeah, I have all of this hooked up, so we've gotten 13 singularities that we have set up. Definitely don't have everything yet, but I do want to just keep going and just basically make every singularity possible. So our next step would be boron. I think, like I said, I can get boron from sodium. That's what I said, right? Yeah, I can get carbon and boron, so that would be my next two, because even though I technically have a bunch of carbon, I don't have any way to, like, infinitely produce it yet, so, I mean, like, that is definitely a way. And we can always take, like I said, these drawers and just slap them on top of each of these compressors if we want to, like, drain what we have so far. So I'm not too worried about that as well. But that would definitely take care of 5 and 6, so... Because this produces a lot of sodium. All I really would do is, just to speed things up as well, I could just double what I've already done in there and just have whatever sodium is being produced from the doubled version just going into its own fission controller. But the rest of this would all go here because these are not very fast because the percentages of getting them are very low. So yeah, I've been a little busy. I've been using my brain. So we've got nitrogen. Oxygen is something that we have a lot of. There are a ton of different ways for us to automate oxygen just based off of everything else. Like this one's aluminum oxide, which I could get from... Like, I think I have a bunch of aluminum oxide now, because that's one of the things I've been getting from potassium kaolinate. Yeah. I mean, I can't say a ton, but this would double the amount of aluminum that we have, and it would triple the amount of oxygen that we have. And this is all just from the quantum quarry, because it breaks down everything. So that would be an idea for oxygen. Fluorine. I don't know about that one, chief. Fluorine could be made from potassium, because that would also give us neon, because I think we do need a neon one as well. Yeah. So potassium and neon, or potassium makes neon and fluoride, and the best way to get potassium, I mean why would I say potatoes? Because potatoes have potassium. That was deep in my brain. I was like, why did I say potatoes? Because potatoes have potassium. That makes sense. So I could technically... And this would give us a ton of oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon if we wanted to go that route as well for that. But I could get it from potatoes, but that's only a 25% chance per potato. What were the other options? We have potassium nitrate, which is made from niter, or gunpowder. Well, I do have a lot of gunpowder from the thing upstairs, the mob slaughter thing. We could also, let's see, what would the next option? We have potassium chloride, which we've been getting from the mineral salt. So I could also do that. I could take, if I double that up, I could take the sodium chloride and break that down to get into the sodium, and then the sodium makes the boron and the, what was the next one? What's after carbon? Did I say carbon? We're going to go with carbon. And then take the potassium chloride from that to get the potassium, and then use the potassium to make neon and fluoride. Like I was like, there's a ton of different ways to actually do that. It's just a matter of deciding which do you think would be best. So we've got sodium, magnesium. We probably have a bunch of magnesium because it's going to be... Yeah, we have 19,000 because that's, again, from our quantum quarry. Any ores that we get, it's just automatic, other than iron and gold now, but it was. It's just being broken down into their counterpart. So it's like, honestly, with these, I could just hook the quantum quarry directly up to the neutronium compressors for those instead of having them pump into our storage drawers. So like that is an option as well. And I think I talked before too, it was like I can make more quantum quarries, or I could just add more power to this one. I can get another battery or upgrade this battery. It's just a matter of the power that I have available. Let's see, what else would there be? So it's mini aluminum, silicon. Silicon dioxide, super easy. I got a ton of that. So like, again, another fission thing. Phosphorus, how to make phosphorus. Phosphorus is, I could break down zinc, I could break down copper, or I can break down gallium. That'll give us a bunch of different things that we would need. Another option is to get it from phosphate, which is from... Alright, that's not helpful. And then that's from wither skulls. So bones, I got a lot of bones. So we can use bones to get hydroxylapatite. There we go. And that'll give us a bunch of calcium, phosphate, and hydroxide. This gives us oxygen and hydrogen. That gives us... P is not potassium. P is phosphorus. Well, it'll give us phosphorus and oxygen and calcium. And it's like, I think we need calcium as well. So, again, it just all goes down. It's like there's many different ways. The only things I don't have a lot of is redstone and nether quartz. Nether quartz is going to be an interesting to try to get hold of, because as far as I'm aware, other than... I think the laser drill would be the only way for us to get it, and it's like, I think I have to have this running in the nether in order for it to function. Okay, you don't have to have it running in the nether. I think it's just the chances of getting it are a lot lower. Yeah, the weight is 1 instead of 12, so if I have it in the nether... Okay, I'm just rambling, but like at this point, there is just a lot of stuff to do that I can just hook up. So in between, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm just gonna be blunt. I don't know. Now I'm not sure. What I was going to say, just to not leave it off a cliffhanger, I was saying I may cheat in the neutronium ingots and nuggets. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I need a lot of it, and waiting for it, like I said, just to get the things that I have, which to be fair is a good chunk of making the neutronium compressors, but that took me waiting on the server overnight or just throughout the day, just kind of sitting here and just hoping that I don't implode somehow in the game. So that's what I'm like, I may or may not, but I'm also sitting here, I'm having an issue with getting iron. So it's like, okay, even if I were to get those by cheating those in, would I also cheat on iron? I don't think that's fair, because that takes away the point of me trying to figure out which laser drill or quantum quarry would be better for us in the long run. So, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because I'm going to see which one of these I can get better, because I've added a different laser. I've been trying to get a lot of redstone, that's why this. But I've been adding laser lenses. Are they working any better? I don't know. I could just go mining. I could go... There's a lot of different things. Like I said, I can make another quantum quarry and just kind of have it double timing and just producing the iron that I need. There are options. So, yeah. In between, like, see, I got some iron just sitting here. Definitely not enough, but I have some iron sitting there. In between, I am going to... See, it's not producing fast enough to get into there yet, but that's okay, because this is ever so slowly loading. I'm going to make more neutronium compressors. I'm going to do more of what I was doing in the background when it comes to this, of just making fission casings and other different ways to break down chemicals to get the ones that we need. So even if I don't have the neutronium compressor yet, I can have it set up to just go into a chest or into a drawer, and that way we can swap those out when the time comes. Will it be to this level? I don't know. But we will see, because like I said, I just rambled off a bunch of different ways to get these. I will probably have to build a laser drill in the nether, just so I could get a bunch of quartz, because that is legitimately the only way I see us being able to get more quartz. Otherwise, I have a bunch of hellish matter. I have a ton of lapis, technically, but I think lapis is... No, it's not. I just lied. I was going to say lapis is going to be one of the singularities, but it is not. Yes, it is. Oh, it's lapis blocks. Yeah, so I don't want to use all my lapis, because I do need it for the blocks. So that's why I'm like, wait. So, yeah. So I kind of have to get the nether quartz ore, and the only option it gives me is the laser, because I don't think the quantum quarry works in the nether, because it's a different dimension it's technically pulling out of, and it's an overworld dimension, so ish. So I might have to do this and just make a bunch of white laser lenses just so I can get a bunch of nether quartz and then break it down to fur. But that'll be easy. I am fireproof at this point, so not too worried about dying in the nether. And yeah, I don't have many other plans to do in between. If I feel a little funny, I will do some of these side quests, but we'll see. But otherwise, I'm just going to focus on that. I hope y'all are not annoyed by me doing most of this off camera and just enjoy me talking about it. It's just difficult for me to do. I want to say it's not difficult to record me doing this by any means, but it just takes a while and it is kind of repetitive. Like, literally, this is just the same machine twice. And if y'all are understanding what's going on, that's kind of all that matters to me. If you want to be on that journey, you can let me know. These episodes would be a lot longer, though, and this one already is running really long. So, yeah. I'm going to shut up and let things run and just kind of go from there. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any tips, tricks, or anything like that, please put it down in the comments below. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.